Greetings, tutor and colleagues. My name is Novia Andrea Gomez Montenegro, and this is my video response to task 2 for the course Colombian Education. This task required me to present a video recording discussing the statement provided by Dr. Anne-Marie Mejia, PhD in linguistics in the area of bilingual education, and answer the questions establishing a critical point of view based on readings, some research, and my own experience. I've had more than 20 years as an English teacher and content area teacher in the bilingual sector in Cali, and actually working as a coordinator in a well-known binational center in the city. The article in the article, Dr. Mejia states that it's been clearly noticed that there is a privilege in the Spanish-English bilingualism in our society. It leads to the possibility of employment and in the global marketplace, yet there is evidence of an undervalue of bilingualism in minority Amerindian and Creole languages, which is commonly linked to underdevelopment, poverty, and backwardness. The writer invites us to reflect upon the role of bilingual education programs in the development of tolerance, understanding of the diversity, the identity, and the multiculturality of our society. In order to provide my personal point of view based on research of the actual conditions of bilingualism in our country and my personal experience in the field, I will address each of the 6 implications Dr. Mejia states in her article. Each as relevant as the others will be supported by recent statistics and reports from both official and external entities. To adopt a critical perspective of the privileged position English has in bilingualism programs in our country, we need to review the historical background of bilingualism in Colombia. Since the birth of the Republic of Nueva Granada in early 19th century, foreign languages had an influence in education, firstly for the high society sectors, but slowly giving access to more members of the society. Languages such as Latin, Greek, French, German, and English were introduced in the 1830s, and in addition, we need to remember that the 65 indigenous languages which struggled to survive were placed by the 1991 Constitution as co-official, and just recently gained a more egalitarian language policy. Um, since 2010, at least in paper. If progress has been made, this development it has been slow and difficult. Um, Dr. Mejia also implies that development of bilingual education programs in public or state sectors must be a priority. The National Ministry of Education, along with the national and international allies, have made regular efforts to promote an English-based bilingual culture since 1979, when the subject was established in the national secondary curricula as mandatory. However, it wasn't until 2004 that measurable goals were clearly stated in the National Bilingual Plan, inspired in the Common European Framework. These goals and standards lack in other languages. There is no evidence of work of this sort in French, for instance, or German, um, or not even in the native languages. Despite the fact that national laws promote this. But if we check all the plans and transitions, do we know if they worked? Well, the more recent report of the world largest ranking of English skills offered by the English Education First company EF, based on the results of 2 million others in over 100 countries and regions around the globe, placed Colombia in the position 81 out of 112 in the category of low proficiency. This place has gradually distanced from the 51st position rank reported 5 years ago. PISA and other recognized entities also give our country low ranks. Besides, our national state ranks are far from most optimistic. In the last 5 years, Colombia has kept the majority of our secondary students in the lowest level of English proficiency, with little progress in the intermediate levels, main aim of the national bilingual policies. For instance, the latest program, Colombia Bilingüe, projects national levels to get B1 by the year 2025, and that's far from reality. When analyzing the statistics of English proficiency in the undergraduate programs in universities, we can see the consistency with the previous results, showing low level and their modest progress throughout the years. Some action plans have been suggested to improve these results, still the heterogeneous context, the lack of coherent policies, and the limitations of the governmental programs have minimized their effectiveness. The inclusion of a plan to develop sensitivity towards cultural diversity is one of the implications Dr. Mejia suggests in her article. Recent efforts have been made to recognize rights and preservation strategies to the diverse indigenous languages of our country. In the latest few years, universities of Cauca and University of Antioquia have included programs that foster the revival and teaching of languages. The latter graduated 58 students in 6 native languages recently. Though this progress is moderate, there is hope for them in the near future if the government and the private sector join to protect them from extinction. Mejia also adds the need to avoid the perception of biculturalism as a threat to cultural identity, removing the exclusivity of one foreign language and culture to protect the student's social and cultural roots, as she states. That's why it's prior to develop coherent policies in bilingual schools on intercultural relations that prompt respect and esteem for our culture. Um, and the understanding of other cultures, of course. English, nevertheless, has a relevant role in this task, as it's proven that learning another language broadens our perspective of the world. Additionally, the goal of economical benefits needs to be balanced with the other purposes of language learning. This with the aim of establishing unified definitions and criteria of bilingualism, including other languages, inspired by the effectiveness of some programs in other countries that reflect the growth of multiculturalism in different stages of our education system. Um, Last but not the least, the voice of Colombian teachers must be included in the expansion of interculturality, since their role as models and influencers of the generations they hold is undeniable, yet limited by the low remuneration, the different obstacles they face in their local context, especially in the public sector. It is also relevant to offer training and guidance for them to effectively accompany the progress of their students. As a conclusion, we can say that the complexity of the interrelationship between language, culture, and identities in our country urges us to rephrase bilingualism and widen the possibilities for other languages to join in. Our current education programs must enhance the recognition and value of linguistics and cultural diversity, strengthen our identity while shortening the gap. There is a long way to go, but the latest efforts offer a glimpse of hope. Well, these are the main references I use for this task. I appreciate your attention and in advance, thank you for your feedback.